The pill bottle rattled when I picked it up, a sound I'd become intimately familiar with over the past 4 months. Capecitabine, the label read. Take 2 tablets twice daily with water within 30 minutes of a meal. The orange pills inside represented my best chance at beating the acute lymphoblastic leukemia that had upended my life at 23. Each bottle cost $4,200. My insurance covered most of it, leaving me with a $300 copay that still stung each month. But the financial cost paled in comparison to the physical one. Weight loss had stripped 20 pounds from my already slim frame, leaving me gaunt and skeletal. Fatigue so profound that climbing the stairs to my bedroom required rest stops and sheer determination. A pallor that made my skin look translucent, made strangers ask if I was feeling all right, made children stare. The medication worked by interfering with cancer cell division, but it also interfered with everything else. My appetite had vanished. Food tasted like cardboard when I could taste anything at all. My hands and feet tingled with neuropathy. My hair had thinned to wispy strands I eventually cut short just to feel some control over my changing appearance. My stepmother, Diane, hated how I looked. "Can't you wear more makeup?" she'd asked last week, eyeing me over her coffee cup. "You're so pale. It's unsettling." "It's the chemotherapy." "Still, you could make an effort." I'd moved back home after my diagnosis, partially because my father insisted, and partially because living alone during intensive treatment seemed unwise. Dad had remarried 3 years ago, and Diane had tolerated my presence until I got sick. Now my illness inconvenienced her carefully curated image of domestic perfection. The party had been planned for months, a fundraiser for the local arts council hosted at our home, with a guest list that read like a who's who of the city's social elite. Diane had spent weeks preparing, her anxiety and excitement building with each passing day. Professional caterers hired from the city's best restaurant, a string quartet flown in from Seattle, flowers shipped from Portland because the local florist wasn't sophisticated enough, 3 fittings for a designer dress that cost more than my car payment. She'd show me the seating chart, the menu cards with their calligraphy, the custom cocktail napkins with the event logo. Every detail had been agonized over, refined, perfected. This party was her debut into a social circle she'd been courting since marrying my father. The right impression here could mean invitations to boards, committees, the inner sanctum of the city's philanthropic elite. And I, with my sickly appearance and prescription bottles, was a liability she couldn't afford. "I need you to stay in your room during the party," she announced on Thursday morning, 3 days before the event. I looked up from my oatmeal, the only food I could reliably keep down lately. "What?" "The party. Saturday night. I need you upstairs, out of sight. It's my house, too. It's your father's house. And I'm asking you, as a favor, not to be visible when my guests arrive. You understand why?" I understood. I looked sick because I was sick, and sick people didn't fit Diane's aesthetic. "I'll stay in my room," I said quietly. Saturday arrived with clear skies and perfect weather. Diane spent the day in a controlled frenzy of last-minute preparations. Flowers arranged and rearranged, table settings adjusted, lighting tested. I spent the day in my room, timing my medication schedule. 2 pills at 8 in the morning with toast. 2 more at 8 in the evening with soup. Missing doses wasn't an option. My oncologist had been clear about that. The medication worked by maintaining consistent levels in my bloodstream, skipped doses, and the treatment's efficacy dropped significantly. At 6 in the evening, Diane knocked on my door. She wore a silver cocktail dress that probably cost more than my monthly medication. Her hair and makeup were flawless. "I need you to give me your pills," she said. I stared at her. "What?" "Your medication, the bottles in the bathroom. Give them to me. I need to take my evening dose in 2 hours. You can skip 1 night. I don't want pill bottles visible anywhere in this house. My friend Patricia is very observant, and if she sees prescription bottles, she'll ask questions." "Diane, I can't skip doses. It's chemotherapy. 1 night won't kill you. Don't be dramatic." She held out her hand expectantly. "No." Her expression hardened. "Excuse me." I said no. "I'm not giving you my medication. I need it. This is my party in my home, and I am not having it ruined because you insist on looking sick and leaving your pills lying around like some kind of pharmacy. Give me the bottles, now." "Where's Dad?" "Your father is downstairs helping with the wine selection. Don't involve him in this. Just cooperate for once." She pushed past me into the bathroom. I heard the medicine cabinet open, heard bottles rattling. I grabbed my phone and started recording as I walked to the bathroom doorway. Diane stood at the sink, my 3 bottles of capecitabine in her hands. Each contained a 30-day supply, 3 months of treatment, representing over $12,000 in medication. Put those down, I said, phone raised. She saw the camera and her jaw tightened. Turn that off. Put my medication down first. Instead, she twisted the cap off the first bottle and turned it upside down over the toilet. Orange pills tumbled into the water, dozens of them. Months of treatment disappearing in seconds. Stop. I moved forward, but she blocked me with her body. You make me look sick at my own party, she said, opening the second bottle. I've worked too hard for this night to have you ruin it. More pills hit the water. The second bottle emptied, then the third. She flushed twice. The pills swirled and vanished. There, she said, setting the empty bottles on the counter. Problem solved. Now you have no reason to come downstairs. I was shaking, phone still recording. You just destroyed 3 months of chemotherapy. I destroyed some pills. You can get more on Monday. Stop being dramatic and stay in your room. She left, closing the door behind her. I heard her heels clicking down the stairs, the string quartet start playing, and the doorbell ring as the first guests arrived. I sat on the bathroom floor and documented everything. Photographed the empty bottles with their prescription labels clearly visible, photographed the timestamp, and recorded a voice memo describing exactly what had happened, my voice surprisingly steady. Then I called my oncologist's emergency line. Dr. Williams called back within 20 minutes. What's wrong? My stepmother just flushed my entire medication supply down the toilet. All 3 bottles. Silence. Then, carefully, all of it. Every pill. I have it on video. You need to go to the emergency room, tonight. Missing even 2 doses of your current protocol could be dangerous. I'll call ahead and authorize an emergency supply. The ER visit lasted 4 hours. They examined me, drew blood, and consulted with Dr. Williams remotely. The pharmacist on duty managed to fill a 7-day emergency supply, enough to bridge me until Monday, when I could deal with insurance. The bill was $2,800. Monday morning, I called my insurance company and explained that I needed my prescriptions refilled 3 weeks early because the original supply had been destroyed. Destroyed how? The representative asked. Intentionally. By a family member. I have video documentation. I'll need to transfer you to our fraud investigation department. The investigation department had many more questions. They wanted copies of everything. The video of Diane dumping the pills, photos of the empty bottles, the ER report, and the police report I'd filed Sunday morning while Diane was at brunch, still glowing from her successful party. An investigator named James Mitchell was assigned to my case. He called Wednesday afternoon, his voice professional but with an undercurrent of what sounded like controlled anger. I've reviewed your documentation, he said. This is pretty clear-cut. Your stepmother destroyed over $12,000 worth of medication that our company paid for. That's insurance fraud. But it's more than that. It's medical endangerment. It's interference with life-saving treatment. I just need my medication replaced. We'll replace it. Already approved. You can pick it up today. But we're also pursuing damages. Your stepmother's actions forced you to seek emergency care, caused you to miss critical doses of life-saving medication, and cost both you and our company significant money. More importantly, she put your life at risk over party aesthetics. We take this very seriously. What happens now? Full investigation. I'll interview all parties involved, review all evidence, and document everything. Then we determine liability and pursue damages through our legal team. This isn't just about reimbursement. This is about accountability. He interviewed me first, recording everything in his office downtown. He asked me to walk through the entire incident chronologically, starting from when Diane first asked me to stay in my room. He reviewed my video frame by frame, noting timestamps, her words, and the visible prescription labels on the bottles. He examined the photos I'd taken, read through the ER report line by line, and consulted with Dr. Williams about the medical implications of missed doses. Your oncologist states that missing even 48 hours of this medication could significantly impact treatment efficacy. He said, reading from his notes, that you're at a critical stage where consistency is paramount. Is that your understanding as well? Yes, Dr. Williams was very clear about that from the beginning. Then he interviewed Diane. I wasn't present for that conversation, but Dad told me about it later, his voice heavy with something between shame and exhaustion. She had been confident at first, he said, dismissive of the entire investigation. Just a misunderstanding between stepmother and stepdaughter. I was exaggerating, being dramatic, making a situation out of nothing. The pills were probably expired anyway. She'd done everyone a favor by disposing of outdated medication. Then James showed her the video. She tried several different approaches, Dad said. First, she claimed it was taken out of context, that the camera hadn't captured the full conversation, that I'd given her permission to dispose of the medication. When James pointed out that permission didn't explain my immediate trip to the emergency room, she shifted tactics. She said I'd been looking for a reason to cause trouble, had set the whole thing up because I resented her, had staged the destruction myself for sympathy. James asked her to explain why, if I'd given permission or staged anything, I'd immediately gone to the emergency room for replacement medication at significant personal cost. Why I'd filed a police report within 24 hours. Why my oncologist had documented medical necessity for immediate replacement and expressed serious concern about missed doses. Why the video clearly showed her stating that I made her look sick at her party. She couldn't answer any of it. The confidence crumbled. She'd asked for a lawyer. The determination took 2 weeks. James called me on a Friday afternoon. We've completed our investigation. Your stepmother is liable for willful destruction of covered medication, interference with medical treatment, and the resulting emergency care costs. Our legal team has calculated damages. How much? Replacement medication, $4,200. Emergency room visit and temporary supply, $2,800. Pain and suffering from missed doses and medical endangerment, $20,000. Punitive damages for intentional destruction, $25,000. Total of $52,000. I couldn't speak. Our company is pursuing $4,200 for the medication replacement directly. The remaining $48,000 is being pursued on your behalf for personal damages. You have the option to accept a settlement or take it to civil court. A settlement? We've contacted your stepmother's legal counsel. They're motivated to settle. This video is not something they want presented in court. The settlement offer came 3 days later, $50,000, paid in full within 30 days, in exchange for not pursuing criminal charges beyond the police report already filed. I accepted. Diane didn't speak to me after that. Neither did Dad initially. He was caught between his wife's humiliation and his daughter's near-death experience. Eventually, he chose Diane, the way he'd been choosing her all along. I moved out 2 weeks after the settlement cleared. I found a small apartment near the hospital, close to my oncologist's office. I furnished it with money from the settlement. I set up automatic pill reminders on my phone, backup alarms, and a locked cabinet for my medication. The treatment continued. 6 more months of pills, taken religiously, twice daily, never missed. The leukemia responded. My counts improved. Dr. Williams used words like remission and recovery. Diane's party had been a success, by all accounts. Her friends had been impressed. Her social standing had been elevated. She posted photos on social media, perfectly staged shots of elegance and refinement. She deleted them all after the settlement went public. After her friends learned she destroyed her stepdaughter's cancer medication over party aesthetics. After the whisper network of social circles she'd worked so hard to infiltrate learned what she'd done. Turns out flushing chemotherapy pills down the toilet to maintain appearances doesn't play well among the charity fundraiser crowd. I saw her once after I moved out at a grocery store 6 months later. She looked older, harder, turned away when she saw me. I let her go. No confrontation needed, no harsh words or dramatic scene. She'd already paid $50,000, her reputation, her social standing, the friendships she'd cultivated so carefully. All for one perfect party that no one remembered 6 months later. I finished my treatment in December. Dr. Williams declared me in complete remission in January. I kept the empty pill bottles from that destroyed supply, lined up on a shelf in my apartment, a reminder of what my stepmother valued. 3 months of cancer treatment, destroyed for aesthetics. But I documented everything, every pill that fell into that toilet, every empty bottle, every word she'd said. And documentation, it turns out, is more powerful than image. Evidence matters more than appearances. My stepmother had spent years building a perfect facade. One video brought it down. $50,000 later, she learned that some things cost more than you expect. Like flushing your stepdaughter's chemotherapy down the toilet because she made your party look less perfect. The insurance investigator had been right. They took it seriously. And so did the courts, the settlement agreement, and everyone who learned what she'd done. I take my pills twice daily now, in my own apartment with my own locks on my own medicine cabinet. The leukemia stays in remission. My hair grew back. My weight returned. The color came back to my face. I look healthy now, not sick at all. And I kept every piece of documentation just in case I ever need to prove what happened. Because some things are worth recording, worth preserving, worth fighting for. Like your life. Like your medication. Like the truth about who destroys cancer treatment for party aesthetics. My stepmother learned that lesson at $50,000. I learned it too, but my lesson was different. I learned that sometimes the people who should protect you will betray you for something as shallow as appearances. And when they do, documentation is your best defense. Record everything. Document everything. Keep the evidence. You never know when you'll need proof that someone chose aesthetics over your life. Hey everyone, I'm Jess, a 28-year-old graphic designer with a passion for creating beautiful visuals and apparently navigating the minefield of monster in-laws. Right now, I should be on cloud 9, planning my dream wedding to Mike, my boyfriend of 3 years. We met in the cutest little coffee shop downtown. It was a total rom-com moment. Imagine me spilling my latte all over his crisp white shirt. Instead of being mad, he just laughed and asked me out. From then on, it was like fireworks. My best friends, Sarah and Lily, have been absolute lifesavers through this whole wedding planning process. One evening, we were sitting in my living room, surrounded by bridal magazines and empty wine glasses, when Sarah brought up the dreaded topic. So Jess, when are you going dress shopping? I groaned. I've been putting it off. You know Karen's going to want to tag along. Lily rolled her eyes. Mike's mom, the one who said your engagement ring would look better on a daintier hand. The very same, I sighed. It feels like she's been trying to sabotage this wedding from day one. Sarah leaned in, her detective instincts kicking in. You know you don't have to invite her, right? I wish, I said. But Mike thinks it would mean a lot to her, and I just want to keep the peace. Fast forward to the bridal boutique. My mom, Sarah, Lily, and of course, the infamous Karen were all seated on plush couches, waiting for my first dress reveal. I stepped out in a mermaid-style gown, feeling pretty confident. Oh honey, Karen said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Are you sure you want to emphasize your hips like that? Maybe something with a fuller skirt would be more flattering? I forced a smile and retreated to try on the next dress. And the next. With each one, Karen's comments grew more cutting. That neckline's a bit low, isn't it? We wouldn't want people to think you're desperate for attention. Lace at your age. Don't you think that's a bit, yum? I was about ready to call it quits when the consultant brought in one last dress. It was vintage-inspired, with delicate beadwork and a soft, flowing skirt. The moment I put it on, I knew it was the one. When I stepped out, even Karen seemed momentarily stunned into silence. My mom teared up, and Sarah and Lily were grinning from ear to ear. Well, Karen finally said, her lips pursed, it's not bad. If you like that sort of thing. I caught her reflection in the mirror and saw something dark flash across her face. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by that plastic smile. You look beautiful, sweetie, my mom said, squeezing my hand. I twirled in front of the mirror, feeling like a princess. I think this is it, I breathed. Are you sure you don't want to sleep on it? Karen interjected. It's such a big decision. You wouldn't want to rush into anything. Part of me wanted to buy the dress right then and there just to spite her, but I hesitated. It was a lot of money, and Mike and I were trying to stick to a budget. You know what? Maybe you're right, Karen. I'll sleep on it and come back tomorrow. As we left the boutique, I couldn't shake the feeling I'd made a mistake, but I pushed it aside, focusing on the joy I felt in that dress. Tomorrow, I told myself. Tomorrow I'll come back and make it official. The next morning, I woke up feeling like a kid on Christmas. I practically skipped through the doors of the boutique. Good morning. I'm here to purchase the dress I tried on yesterday, I said, practically beaming. But the saleswoman's face fell and my stomach dropped. I'm so sorry, but that dress was sold this morning. What? No, that can't be right. I was going to buy it today. I'm afraid someone came in right at opening and purchased it. I'm so sorry. I stumbled out of the boutique in a daze, fumbling for my phone. Sarah picked up on the second ring. They sold it, Sarah. Someone bought my dress. No way. Are you serious? That's messed up. I spent the next hour on a three-way call with Sarah and Lily, venting my frustration. They were supportive, but I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something wasn't right. A week later, we had our monthly family dinner with Mike's parents. I was still bummed about the dress, but tried to put on a brave face as I set the table. When the doorbell rang, I plastered on a smile, but the moment I saw Karen, my jaw dropped. She was wearing my dress, the exact one I'd fallen in love with at the boutique. Surprise? Karen trilled, twirling in the doorway. What do you think? I just couldn't resist when I saw it in the window. I was speechless, my mind reeling. Mike's dad followed her in, looking uncomfortable. Mom, Mike said, sounding confused. Isn't that the dress Jess was going to buy? Oh, is it? Karen asked, her eyes wide with fox innocence. I had no idea. It just called out to me, and it's perfect for our vow renewal ceremony in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? I finally managed to choke out. But that's right before our wedding. I know. Karen clapped her hands together. Won't it be wonderful? Like a pre-celebration for your big day. I could feel tears pricking at my eyes. Karen, how could you? You knew I loved that dress. Now, Jess, she said, her voice sickly sweet. I'm sure there are plenty of other dresses out there. Don't be so dramatic. Dramatic? My voice was rising. You bought my wedding dress for your vow renewal. It's not your wedding dress, Karen snapped back. You hadn't purchased it yet. And really, it's much more appropriate for someone my age. You're young. You should be wearing something more youthful. I turned to Mike, desperate for support. Mike, can you believe this? But Mike just looks uncomfortable. Come on, Jess. I'm sure my mom didn't mean any harm. Isn't it nice that they're renewing their vows? We should be happy for them. I feel like I've been slapped. Are you kidding me? Your mother deliberately bought the dress she knew I wanted. Jess, you're overreacting, Mike says, his voice turning stern. It's just a dress. And Mom's right, there are plenty of others out there. Just a dress? I can't believe what I'm hearing. That was my dream dress, Mike, and your mother knew it. She's been trying to sabotage our wedding from the start. Now that's enough, Karen interjects, her tone icy. I won't stand here and be accused of such things. Mike, are you going to let her talk to me like this? Mike turns to me, his expression hardening. Jess, I think you need to calm down and apologize to my mother. That's the final straw. I feel something break inside me. Without another word, I grab my keys and head for the door. Where are you going? Mike calls after me. Anywhere but here, I snap, slamming the door behind me. As I drive away, tears stream down my face. I realize I've been betrayed by not just Karen, but Mike too, and I have no idea where to go from here. I end up at Sarah's apartment, a blubbering mess. As soon as she hears what happened, Lily rushes over. Before long, we're all huddled on the couch. I can't believe she did that. Sarah fumes, and Mike just stood there and let it happen. I nod miserably. He told me I was overreacting. Can you believe it? Lily shakes her head in disbelief. This is beyond messed up. There's got to be something we can do. Sarah gets that look in her eye, the one she gets when she's on a case. As a PI, I've seen my fair share of monster-in-laws, but Karen, she takes the cake. I bet if we dig a little, we might find some skeletons in her closet. I don't know, I hesitate. That seems a bit extreme. Extreme? Lily scoffs. She stole your wedding dress, Jess. This woman needs to be taken down a peg. I bite my lip, considering. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt to look. Lily cracks her knuckles. Leave the tech stuff to me. I'll have her accounts cracked faster than you can say, mother-in-law from hell. For the next few days, we dig deep into Karen's past. Sarah uses her PI contacts while Lily works her tech magic. Meanwhile, I'm caught in a storm of Karen's meddling. She's changing wedding vendors behind my back, spreading rumors about me to Mike's family. Did you hear what Karen told Aunt Mildred? I vent to Sarah over the phone. She said I'm only marrying Mike for his money, as if I don't have my own career. That witch. She's unbelievable, Sarah growls. But hey, I think we've hit pay dirt. You're not going to believe what we found. I head over to Sarah's place, where she and Lily are huddled over a laptop. Okay, spill, I say, plopping down next to them. Lily turns the screen toward me. Remember Mike's ex, Amber? Turns out Karen sent her a series of nasty emails, pretending to be Mike. That's why they broke up. My jaw drops. Are you serious? Sarah nods grimly. And that's not all. We found out she's been embezzling money from the family business, funding her lavish lifestyle by cooking the books. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. I can't believe this. Should we tell Mike? Lily snorts. Tell Mike? Jess, he hasn't believed a word you've said about his mom so far. Why would he start now? She's right, and I know it. Every time I've tried to talk to Mike about Karen's behavior, he's brushed me off or accused me of exaggerating. So what do we do? I ask, feeling lost. Sarah leans forward, her eyes gleaming with determination. We expose her, at the vow renewal ceremony, in front of everyone. I hesitate. But that could ruin my relationship with Mike. Lily's voice softens. Honey, I hate to break it to you, but Karen's already doing that. And Mike's letting her. I think about all the times Mike has sided with his mother over me, all the times he's invalidated my feelings. Maybe Lily's right. Okay, I say, taking a deep breath. Let's do it. Let's expose Karen for who she really is. We spend the next week gathering evidence, emails, financial records, even recordings of her bad-mouthing family members. We compile it all. The night before the vow renewal ceremony, we meet for one final planning session. Are you sure about this, Jess? Sarah asks, giving me one last chance to back out. I think about Karen in my dream dress, about Mike's constant dismissal of my feelings, and about the future I'd be signing up for it if I don't do something now. I'm sure, I say, my voice stronger than I feel. It's time Karen faced the consequences of her actions. As I lay in bed that night, I can't help but wonder, am I doing the right thing, or am I about to make the biggest mistake of my life? The day of Karen's vow renewal arrives, and I'm a bundle of nerves. Sarah, Lily, and I arrive at the venue, dressed to kill and ready for action. As Karen glides down the aisle in my dream dress, Lily gives me a subtle nod. She's in the AV system. Just as Karen reaches the altar, the screens around the venue flicker to life. Suddenly, Karen's voice fills the room. Of course, I sabotaged Mike's relationship with Amber. That girl wasn't good enough for my son. The crowd gasps. Next, financial records appear, clearly showing Karen's embezzlement from the family business. Then, screenshots flash up, showing Karen badmouthing various family members. The final blow comes as a recording plays of Karen admitting to buying my wedding dress just to spite me. Chaos erupts. Karen's husband, red-faced and furious, demands answers. Mike stands frozen, his face a mask of shock and betrayal. Karen tries to deny everything, but the evidence is irrefutable. In her panic, she stumbles, tripping over the stolen dress. She falls face first into the wedding cake, ruining both the gown and her makeup. Covered in frosting and mascara running, Karen looks around helplessly as her husband storms off, shouting about divorce. Mike approaches me, eyes pleading. Jess, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. But as I look at him, something clicks inside. No, Mike, you shouldn't have needed all of this to believe me. I deserve someone who trusts me, who stands up for me. I slip off my engagement ring and hand it to him. I think it's best if we end this here. As Mike walks away, shoulders slumped, I feel a weight lift off my chest. Ready to get out of here? Sarah asks. I nod, smiling, more than ready. We head to our favorite bar, where we toast to new beginnings and true friendship. As we clink glasses, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror behind the bar. For the first time in months, I look truly happy. Meanwhile, across town, Karen faces the consequences of her actions, alone. Her reputation in tatters, her marriage over, and her son finally seeing her true colors. As I sip my drink, surrounded by friends who have always had my back, I realize I've gained something far more valuable than a wedding dress or a toxic relationship. I've gained self-respect and the knowledge that I'm strong enough to stand up for myself. And really, that's the sweetest karma of all. Now we turn it over to you. If you were Jess, would you have forgiven Mike and given him another chance? Or do you think ending the engagement was the right call? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hey everyone, I'm Yelena. 28 years old, and I thought I had my life all figured out. I've been crushing it as a computer engineer at a cutting-edge tech startup in the city. We're working on groundbreaking cybersecurity technology that could really change the game. But life, as it turns out, loves throwing curveballs when you least expect it. I was in the break room, grabbing my third coffee of the day, when Marcus, my work bestie, walked in, grinning from ear to ear. "Yelena, you're not going to believe this. We just landed that government contract." I nearly spilled my coffee. "No way. We've been working on that pitch for months." He nodded, still grinning. "Looks like all those late nights finally paid off. We should celebrate." Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. It was Tom, my fiancé. "Hey babe, don't forget we've got dinner with my parents tonight." I groaned inwardly. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom. But his parents can be a lot. "Thanks for the reminder. I'll be there," I replied, trying not to sound too exasperated. Just as I hung up, I noticed another email notification. Another one of those weird cryptic messages I've been getting for weeks now. They always hinted at some big family secret. I tried to shake it off, but something about them gave me the creeps. Later that evening, I found my mom in the kitchen, aggressively chopping vegetables. "Mom, we need to talk about these emails I've been getting," I said, showing her my phone. She barely glanced up. "What emails?" "These," I said, scrolling through the cryptic messages. "They keep mentioning some family secret. Do you know anything about this?" Her hand slipped, nearly cutting herself. "It's just spam, Yelena. Delete them and forget about it." But something in her voice was off. "Mom, if there's something I should know." She slammed the knife down, cutting me off. "Drop it. Why do you always have to dig into things that don't concern you?" I stepped back, stunned. "Fine, whatever. I'm going to Tom's parents for dinner. Don't wait up." As I drove to Tom's, my mind raced. What was my mom hiding, and why was she so defensive about it? The dinner, as expected, was awkward. Tom's mom kept dropping hints about grandkids, and his dad drilled me with questions about my job stability. By the time dessert came, I was ready to leave. Then, everything went sideways. I took a bite of the pie and immediately felt my throat tighten. Panic set in. I was having an allergic reaction. I could hear Tom's voice, distant and panicked. "Yelena, what's wrong?" I could barely choke out, "Hospital. Now." The last thing I remembered was Tom's dad frantically calling 911 as everything started to blur. The ambulance rushed me to the ER, my breathing shallow, my throat closing. Through my fading vision, I saw a doctor approach, glancing at my chart. "I'm Dr. Hawthorne," he said, his voice oddly tense. He glanced at my last name and suddenly froze. He stepped back abruptly. "Dr. Stevens, take over. I have another urgent case." I wanted to scream, to ask why he was leaving, but I couldn't speak. The new doctor, Dr. Stevens, injected me with something, and gradually, I could breathe again. Just as I started to recover, Tom burst into the room, his face pale with worry. "Yelena, are you okay? What happened?" I tried to tell him about the doctor who left, but I was too weak. Tom stormed out, and I heard raised voices in the hallway. "What kind of doctor just leaves his patient like that? She could have died." When I was stable enough to leave, Tom helped me check out, but I was furious. Something wasn't right, and I was determined to get to the bottom of it. Over the next few days, I used every trick I knew as a computer engineer to dig into Dr. Hawthorne's past. What I found chilled me to the bone. Buried in an old, abandoned social media account was a photo of him, years younger, with his arm around my mother. They looked happy, like a couple in love. I confronted my mom that evening, my hands shaking as I held up the photo on my phone. "Mom, who is this man? And don't lie to me." She paled, sinking into a chair. "Yelena, I never wanted you to find out like this." "Find out what?" I demanded, my voice rising. "Who is he?" She took a deep breath. "Richard. Dr. Hawthorne. He's my ex-husband. He's your biological father." The room spun. I felt sick. "What? Why didn't you ever tell me?" "He left when I told him I was pregnant," she said, tears filling her eyes. "He didn't want anything to do with us. I thought I was protecting you." "Protecting me?" I laughed bitterly. "He nearly let me die in that ER. And you've been lying to me my entire life." "Yelena, please let me explain," she begged. But I couldn't stay. I was already heading for the door. "I don't want to hear it. I can't. I can't be here, right? I drove to Tom's place, tears blurring my vision. When he opened the door and saw my face, he pulled me into a tight hug. Babe, what's wrong? What happened? Through my sobs, I told him everything. The photo, my mom's confession, the years of lies. I can't believe it, I said, wiping my eyes. My whole life has been a lie. And that man, my father, he just left me there in the ER. He knew who I was, and he still walked away. Tom held me tighter. You can stay here as long as you need. We'll figure this out together, okay? I nodded, feeling hollow inside. That night, I drifted into an uneasy sleep, haunted by the thought that this was only the beginning. There had to be more to this story, more secrets buried in my family's past. And I was going to uncover every last one of them, no matter the cost. Using every cybersecurity trick I knew, I hacked into old email accounts, desperate for answers. What I found made my stomach turn. Years of hush money payments from Dr. Hawthorne to my mom, along with threats to keep her silent if she ever told me the truth. It was all there in black and white. Yelena, you need to let this go, Tom said one morning, his voice edged with frustration. It's consuming you. I spun around in my chair, glaring. Let it go. My entire life has been a lie. How can I just let that go? He sighed, rubbing his temples. I'm just worried about you, babe. This obsession, it's not healthy. But I couldn't stop. I needed answers. The next day at work, I pulled Marcus aside. I need to tell you something, but you have to promise to keep it quiet. His eyes widened as I spilled everything. When I finished, he let out a low whistle. Damn, Yelena, that's heavy. How can I help? I need to gather more evidence. Can you help me set up some secure channels? He nodded without hesitation. That's why Marcus was my best friend. But as we dug deeper, things got weird. Anonymous threats started showing up. First at work, then at home. One note slipped under my office door, read, "Stop digging, or else." Another warned, some secrets should stay buried. At first, I tried to brush them off, but they were getting to me. One night, I showed Tom the latest note. Look at this, I said, handing it to him. His reaction was unexpected. He grabbed the paper and crumpled it up. Yelena, this has gone too far. You need to stop before you get hurt. His vehemence caught me off guard. That's when I started noticing other things. How he always seemed to know where I was, how tense he got whenever I mentioned my investigation. Something wasn't right. With Marcus's help, I set up a trap. I created a fake email account, supposedly full of damning evidence, and left it open on my laptop at home. That night, I pretended to go to bed early, but snuck back into the living room later. What I saw shattered my world all over again. Tom was on the phone, his voice low and urgent. She knows too much. We need to shut this down now. My heart pounded as I stepped into the room. Who are you talking to, Tom? He whirled around, his face pale. Yelena? It's not what you think. Really? Because it sounds like you've been spying on me. Who's on the phone, Tom? Is it Dr. Hawthorne? His silence was all the confirmation I needed. How long? I demanded, my voice shaking. How long have you been working for him? Tom's shoulders slumped. Since before we met. He hired me to keep tabs on you to make sure you never found out the truth. But I swear, I never meant to fall in love with you, Yelena. It just happened. I felt like I was going to be sick. So our entire relationship was a lie? Was anything real? My feelings for you are real, he pleaded. Please, Yelena, we can work this out. I backed away, shaking my head. No, we can't. Later, I sat in my apartment, surrounded by laptops and hard drives, my fingers flying over the keyboard. But instead of letting the pain consume me, I channeled it into determination. They wanted to play games. Fine, I'd show them how it's really done. You sure about this? Marcus asked, setting up the last hidden camera. I nodded grimly. They don't get to win. Not this time. Our plan was simple but effective. Using my tech skills, I created a fake medical file, a patient with symptoms that would require immediate attention from the head of the ER. Dr. Hawthorne wouldn't be able to resist. When he entered the exam room, the cameras were rolling, but instead of a patient, he found me waiting. Hello, Dad, I said coldly. His face went white. Yelena, what is this? This is me getting answers and evidence. What followed was a heated confrontation. Thinking we were alone, Dr. Hawthorne revealed everything. The payoffs, the threats, even hiring Tom to spy on me. It was all caught on camera. That night, I sent everything. The recording, the email trails, years of evidence of malpractice and ethical violations, to the hospital board and every news outlet in the city. But I wasn't done. Digging deeper into his financials, I uncovered a massive money laundering scheme involving both Dr. Hawthorne and Tom. One anonymous tip to the FBI later, and their entire operation came crashing down. I watched from my office as they were led away in handcuffs, their faces plastered across every news channel. My phone buzzed. It was my mom. "Yelena, please, can we talk?" I took a deep breath. "There's nothing left to say, Mom. You made your choices. Now I'm making mine." It wasn't easy cutting ties with my family, but as I looked around at my life, my promotion at work, the support group I'd started for victims of medical malpractice, the quiet dinners with Marcus that were slowly blossoming into something more, I knew I'd made the right choice. Months later, I sat in a courtroom as the verdicts were read. Dr. Hawthorne, loss of medical license, jail time for fraud. Tom, convicted of conspiracy and embezzlement. As they were led away, Tom caught my eye. There was regret there, maybe even a silent plea for forgiveness. I turned away. That night, Marcus and I walked along the river, hand in hand. "You okay?" he asked softly. I thought about it. The pain was still there, but it no longer defined me. "Yeah," I said, squeezing his hand. "I think I am." As we watched the sunset, I reflected on my journey. I had survived betrayal, lies, and manipulation. But more than that, I had come out stronger. The toxic people in my life thought they could break me. Instead, they only proved how unbreakable I truly was. The story ends here, but the conversation is just beginning. What would you have done in Yelena's shoes? Is cutting ties with toxic family members ever truly the right choice? Or should we always leave room for reconciliation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hi, I'm Jasmine. Things took a drastic turn when I was 12. That year, my dad married Linda, and overnight, I had 3 new step-siblings, Mark, Amy, and Kate. Those early days changed everything, shaping the person I am now. The house had always felt too quiet, but when Linda and her kids moved in, it suddenly came alive with laughter. I remember trying to match their smiles, eager to fit in. "Hey, I'm Jasmine. Want to see my room?" I offered, mostly to Mark, the oldest, hoping to break the ice. He glanced at Amy and Kate before smirking. "Maybe later, we're kind of tired from the move." "Right, girls?" Their nods sealed my first rejection, a sting I'd soon have to get used to. As days turned into months, the gap between us widened. Family outings left me trailing behind, and photo albums began to fill up. Albums I wasn't in. Once, during a Thanksgiving gathering, I worked up the courage to ask, "Linda, can I be in the next photo with everyone?" She glanced at my dad, who hesitated. "Jasmine, this one's for the grandparents. They just want a picture of the grandkids, you know." The polite exclusion hit its mark. "But I am family, aren't I?" I asked, feeling my face flush. Kate, always the quiet one, tugged at Linda's sleeve and whispered just loud enough for me to hear. "Why does she keep asking? Can't she see we're busy?" After that, I found refuge with my camera. The one Dad had given me for my birthday. It became my constant companion, my way of being there without really being there. I started taking pictures, not of them, but of the world around me. Birds, trees, the light filtering through the leaves. Anything that didn't remind me of the rejection. Years passed, but not much changed. High school graduations, birthdays, even casual barbecues. I was always there, but never truly included. When Amy got married, I wasn't in the wedding photos. I watched the photographer arrange them, every click reminding me of my place on the sidelines. "Why don't you come stand with us, Jasmine?" Mark joked once, his eyes filled with laughter. It wasn't a real invitation, just another moment for them to enjoy at my expense. "Thanks, but I'm good here," I replied, camera in hand. Photography became more than a hobby. It became my escape, my voice. Every shot, every frame captured how I felt. I was no longer just Jasmine, the stepsister left out. I was Jasmine, the artist, the storyteller. My work started gaining attention, and soon, people began reaching out for photo shoots. One night, Kate called. Her tone was unusually warm. "Hey, Jasmine, I saw your shoot in that magazine. We're having a family gathering next month. Maybe you could bring your camera." Take some shots? I hesitated. That old desire to belong warred with the new sense of self I had built. I'll think about it, Kate. I'm pretty booked, but I'll let you know. After I hung up, I looked into my camera lens and saw my reflection, my face, hardened by years of rejection, but now framed by success. I no longer needed their approval to define me. The rhythmic click of my camera blended with the pulsing music at a high-fashion shoot. Models strode across the set, a whirlwind of colors and fabrics. Each shot felt perfect. My assistant handed me a new lens, her eyes wide with excitement. "These are your best shots yet, Jasmine. This is incredible." I nodded, adjusting the settings with steady hands. "Thanks, let's keep the momentum going. This issue could be a game changer." As the day wound down, my phone buzzed with missed calls. One voicemail was from Mark. As I listened, a knot tightened in my stomach. "Hey, Jasmine. Saw your spread in Vogue. Look, Mom's birthday is coming up and we were wondering if you could do a family portrait. It'd mean a lot to everyone." The irony wasn't lost on me. Before I could even process his words, another call came in, this time from the editor of a major magazine. "Is this Jasmine? We loved your series. We'd like to feature you as a rising star in our next issue. Interested?" My heart raced. "Absolutely, I'd be honored," I replied, my future now illuminated by the opportunities I had created for myself. The next few weeks blur together, filled with accolades and assignments. Articles about my work circulate, labeling me as the it photographer to watch. Invitations to exclusive events pour in, my name whispered in circles that once felt unreachable. At one such event, I run into Amy, unexpectedly. She looks out of place amidst the glittering crowd but approaches tentatively. "Wow, Jasmine, you're really making a name for yourself, huh? Everyone's talking about you." Her voice carries a mix of awe and hesitation. I keep my response cool, professional. "Thanks, Amy. Hard work pays off." She nods, glancing around awkwardly. "Listen about the family portrait." I cut her off, not wanting to reopen old wounds. "I'm really booked, Amy, but I can recommend some great photographers." The distance in my voice is unmistakable. Her attempt at reconciliation, too little too late. As the evening unfolds, I mingle with industry giants, my confidence soaring. The compliments feel like vindication, washing away the sting of years spent on the sidelines. When I return home, I update my social media with highlights from the event. The likes and comments flood in, each one a testament to my newfound status. Among the well-wishers, I spot comments from Kate and Mark, their words now dripping with admiration. But as I sit back, reflecting on my journey, I realize the only approval I ever needed was my own. The family photos that once excluded me no longer matter. In this world, I'm the creator of my own narrative, finally in focus. The studio lights dim as I pack up my gear after a particularly grueling but successful shoot with a rising pop star. My phone lights up with a message from Kate, a rare gesture given our limited communication over the years. "Jasmine, you're everywhere. Think you could do a quick family shoot for us? It's been a while, and it'd be so cool to showcase your work." Her sudden warmth leaves me contemplative but wary. I type a brief response. "I'll think about it, Kate. My schedule's really tight." Days later, at a family gathering hosted by Linda, the atmosphere shifts noticeably as I arrive. Mark, Amy, and Kate hover nearby, their smiles a bit too eager, a stark contrast to the cold shoulders of the past. "Jasmine, look at you, the star of the family," Mark exclaims, clapping his hands as if our history were erased. "We were just talking about setting up a big family photo. You should be front and center." The proposition hangs awkwardly in the air as I adjust the camera strap on my shoulder. "Thanks, but no thanks. I'm good," I say calmly, my voice steady, a boundary I no longer wish to cross. Their faces falter, surprise etched in their expressions. Amy steps forward, a frown tugging at her lips. "Come on, Jasmine. It's just a picture. For old time's sake." I shake my head, a small smile playing on my lips. Old times never really felt like good times for me, at least. "I'll pass, but enjoy the photo." Turning away, I catch Linda's eye. She looks torn, perhaps finally understanding the years of exclusion that had weighed on me. As the evening progresses, the family gathers for the photo I set up on a timer for them. I step aside, observing from a distance, capturing the scene without being part of it. Later, as I review the images on my camera, Kate approaches hesitantly. "Hey, Jasmine. About earlier, I guess we never really saw things from your side." It's okay, Kate. It's all in the past now. I've found my peace, I respond, my tone genuine but detached. My success has taught me the value of self-respect and choosing where I belong. As the party winds down, I leave with a sense of closure. My step-siblings' attempts at reconnection feel more like a reflection of their newfound admiration for my achievements rather than genuine affection. Yet the satisfaction of declining their photo offer lingers, a confirmation of my independence and self-worth. Back in my studio, bathed in the golden light of sunset, I pause to reflect on the journey that brought me here. Surrounded by the vivid images I've created, each photograph on the walls tells a story of triumph, a celebration of life as seen through my lens. It's a stark reminder of how far I've come, not just in my career but in my personal evolution. My phone pings with a message from a close friend and collaborator. Your spot is reserved at the gallery opening next week, Jasmine. Wouldn't it be the same without you? This message, filled with genuine warmth and inclusion, is everything I'd once longed for, a true reflection of the life I've built on my own terms. Over the years, I've built a new family, not one tied by blood, but by bonds formed through shared passions and mutual respect. Reflecting on the times I felt like an outsider in my own family, I realize now how those difficult moments pushed me to seek out people who truly appreciate and uplift me. I've nurtured relationships with friends, mentors, and colleagues who value me, not for my status or what I can offer, but for who I am. Sitting down at my desk, I pen a few thoughts in my journal, a practice that helps me reflect on my growth. Self-worth is not something given by others, but a treasure built from within, I write. This mantra has guided me through moments of doubt and rejection, reminding me of my intrinsic value beyond the need for familial validation. My thoughts drift to the recent family gathering where my calm refusal to join the staged photo wasn't out of spite, but a declaration of my independence. It was a moment of clarity. I no longer needed their acceptance to feel complete. My journey has taught me that the approval I sought most was my own. As I prepare for an upcoming international photography tour, excitement bubbles within me. This tour isn't just a showcase of my work. It's a testament to my resilience and the supportive community I've built. Each city on the itinerary promises new experiences, new stories to capture, and more opportunities to connect with fellow creatives who celebrate each other's successes. I look forward to the future with a heart full of gratitude and a spirit invigorated by the possibilities ahead. No longer anchored by past rejections, I'm free to forge my own path, embracing both the challenges and the triumphs that come with living authentically. My life, much like my art, is a continuous journey of discovery, and I'm eager to see where this newfound liberation takes me. Now, I have a question for all of you. Do you believe it's always necessary to seek reconciliation with family, even if they've hurt you? Or is it sometimes healthier to find closure on your own terms? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.